Horry County students will head back to class in just about a week, and some will be walking into changes within their schools. The person guarding your son or daughter's school and ensuring their safety may not be the person they remember because of a decision made earlier this year. Instead of using school resource officers from the Horry County Police Department, armed security guards through U.S. Security Associates were hired to protect your children. They'll be put on 18 campuses in Horry County. Now that includes Carolina Forest High, Green Sea Floyd's, North Myrtle Beach High, Socastee High, St. James High, Horry County Education Center, the Academy for Tech and Academics, the Academy for Arts, Science and Tech, Blackwater Middle, Ocean Bay Middle, Forest Brook Middle, Loris Middle, North Myrtle Beach Middle, St. James Middle, Aner Middle, and 3 new schools this year, St. James Intermediate, Socastee Middle, and 10 Oaks Middle. We wanted to look at another county in our state that made a similar move, so we turned to Chester County. We found that back in 2015, the school board there decided to get rid of its 4 Chester County Sheriff's Office SROs, and instead, they hired armed security officers through a company called Defender Services. But the move didn't last long, and it created a lot of tension between the school board, the sheriff's office, and county leaders. Here's what we found.
It's obvious that the school board and the superintendent don't care about the safety of our children.
Chester County Sheriff Alex Underwood didn't hold back in 2015 when the school board decided to cut his deputies out of class and replace them with private armed security guards.
I really don't care what they think, because it's obvious they stupid.
Sheriff Underwood said then he believed the decision to take his 4 deputies out of Chester County schools was all about control. But the school board told our sister station out of Charlotte it came down to money.
I think that's the biggest mistake they're going to make, and they're going to come back to haunt them.
Parents spoke out about the decision and really started asking questions about the move to private security after an incident at a school in the upstate. It involved the same company that would soon be in charge of safety in Chester County, Defender Services. A student at an elementary school was able to take a guard's gun from his holster.
My friends are talking about pulling their children out of the school.
The change in Chester County only lasted for 1 school year before SROs were brought back into the 3 high schools, while armed security guards employed by Defender Services remained in the middle and elementary schools. Some in the sheriff's office believe that move didn't go far enough, though.
We feel like that SROs need to be in every school. Again, it's because of what they can offer and the level of protection that they can give the schools.
That level of protection includes hundreds of hours of training from the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy and an additional 2-week course focused specifically on school challenges.
A security guard is a security guard. Anything that happens has to be reported to law enforcement, and law enforcement has to deal with that situation anyway.
In Chester County, security guards can't direct traffic, they can't handle situations off school grounds, and they weren't hired to work security for the school's sporting events. Leaving the sheriff's office to fill in those holes the security company couldn't. And Chester County Chief Deputy Robert Sprouse believes students are not as safe in their classes without law enforcement inside the schools.
Taking us out of the school basically limits us and our ability to protect them. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big deal because, you know, these children are very important to us, and we want to make sure that they get the protection that they need.
That protection under Defender Services control came into question earlier this year when a lawsuit was filed against Chester County Schools, Defender Services, and the security guard involved.
During this altercation, the private security officer tries to intervene and does so, as we see it and as some of the evidence in the case shows it, in an inappropriate manner.
The lawsuit claims the security guard was trying to break up a fight and grabbed one of the students around the waist, pulling him up and off his feet, and then slammed him to the ground, ultimately breaking the student's arm.
When you put someone into a school setting, or you put a security officer into a setting where they're going to be faced with fights. You have to give them all the tools and techniques necessary to be able to do that in an effective manner where people don't get hurt. We feel like it could have been avoided, it should have been avoided, and that could have prevented this injury.
Attorney Andrew Kuntz argues the security guard in this case had inadequate training compared to a law enforcement school resource officer.
Part of the end goal of this whole thing is to make sure that private security organizations or Defender Services itself realizes that we can't just have these folks go through minimal training and then be put on a campus protecting a school load of children.
That was also the fear of the Chester County Sheriff back in 2015.
My son will not be going to Chester County School. And I'm telling every parent, if you're not out there raising hell about the safety of your child, then something's wrong.
Caitlin Stanza with that report. And so after finding all of this out through our investigation into Chester County's experience, we looked into the training for the security guards at U.S. Security Associates, the company Horry County Schools hired. You can see the second part of our investigation coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. We do have new details at 6:30, an organization dedicated